A very good morning to all of you, and my gratitude to all those who have been in the organizing team and having brought me here, considering me here to speak about a topic which is more of a lifeline to me. And even before I proceed, I do not speak the UK English or the American English. I speak the Indian English, which was taught to me when I was young. But I speak from my heart, and in some places, maybe I use my brain. Because the community that I work with, typically the neurodiverse challenged individuals, we speak less. We speak through music. So here we are to understand why music becomes such a powerful medium to connect to so many disadvantaged communities. My entire communities of neurodiverse challenged individuals, especially those on the spectrum, ADHD, and chromosomal abnormalities. And I've also had the opportunity to work with a few cancer survivors and cancer patients, cancer caretakers, and of recent multiple sclerosis. So a journey that probably commenced 2 decades back when I got this opportunity to work with an NGO across children, adolescents, and adults with autism. And from there onwards, the curiosity has never come down. It's always either a quest for knowledge in the neurodiverse disorder section, or it is about music cognition, or it is something in the cognitive neuroscience of music, or child psychology, as to why music is helping me connect with these communities. And a small blessing that I had was to learn Indian classical music, which commenced at the age of 5. So around between 14 to 16, I had started performing. But then something which kept telling me that music is beyond all these platforms. Music is soul-reaching, it's soul-connecting. Now, I cannot be speaking just based on spiritual psychology or existential knowledge, or something that I'm feeling inside. I need science to back up what I'm saying. So that's where we go now. So when I speak about Indian classical music, this is the genre of music that I use with my communities, all the communities that I work with. My music-based interventions are based out of Indian classical music, not to say that other genres are either powerful or not powerful. They are equally powerful. It's just that I'm based out of my cultural roots, and this is some ancient wisdom that I have been bestowed upon by my gurus, my teachers, and I base myself with this deep wisdom that I have gotten. So when we talk about the origin of Indian classical music, it starts right from the Vedas, the Vedic period, and we all know that the 7 notes, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, which is very similar to Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. It originated from the Samaveda, and then there onwards we have enough references from the Valmiki Ramayana, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, giving enough references of music therapy, the Raga Chikitsa, and then if we move on to the Bhakti cult movement, which started in India, the southern part of India, the middle portions of India through the Dasa Sahityas, and yes, right up to the contemporary composers that we have. And now today, the cross-country cultural performances that we witness through fusions through Jugalbandis and many enriching performances. So when we talk about music, we also need to know what happens behind the scene. So initially, when psychologists started studying music as a subject, as to why it was helping dementia, as to why it was helping pain management or rehabilitation, or children with special needs with respect to their speech or communication, or maybe behavior, or maybe just socio-emotional reciprocity. They initially categorized it as a left brain activity. After a few decades, it became a right brain activity. Today, research studies say that it's a complete whole brain activity. And if you notice this slide, look at the number of regions that are being triggered through music. It doesn't matter whether you're actively participating in music or passively engaging in music. It is the equal amount of stimulation that happens in the brain. And if you notice, the Broca's area, the Wernicke's area, then your lobes, the frontal lobe, which is in charge of your analysis, your hippocampus, which is in charge of your memories. And it's so beautiful, the way you also evoke the memories, either it is episodic or it is through sensory memory, it's through your muscle memory if you're an instrumentalist, it's through visual memory. It's so beautiful. And then you have your amygdala, which is in charge of your perception of emotions. And then you have the striatum, the reward perception zone. Typically, that's where I intervene with my children with autism, because very often they are called as children without no emotions. Sorry, I beg to differ. With my children and adolescents with autism, they definitely undergo a lot of emotions. It's just that they don't know how to express. Yeah? And so when you don't know about the disorder and you start intervening, it becomes a disaster. So you need to know about the disorder. And then, yeah, many areas. I mean, this is pure science. I'm sure all of you are doing back end. And to, in fact, understand the previous slide better, you can even imagine a child who's playing a veena, guitar, or any instrument for that matter. We say music is multisensory. Why do we say music is multisensory? Now, if you imagine a child playing veena, your entire kinesthetic system is awake. Both the wrists are active. You're coordinating on the instrument. Both the hands are trying to produce sound. Entire auditory system is awake because you're trying to play a note, a tune, in the same tone, in the same emotion that is being rendered by a master or a teacher, okay? And your entire visual system is awake because either you're coordinating with the notes, the notations, and simultaneously you're coordinating with what is being played by the master or the teacher, and you're trying to produce the same thing. And with all this, apart from the tactile system being awake because you're plucking the strings in veena, and both the hands are active, same with any instrument, there's also a continuous multisensory feedback system which is awake, telling you that you've either hit the note or you need more maintenance rehearsal phases to reach there, yeah, or you have just not done it. So the reason I did the previous slide was, to many of us, we can consume music as a whole. But children and adults whom I work with may not perceive music as a whole. We need to break it down to different elements. We need to give them chunks of information. They cannot receive it as a whole because there could be sensory sensitivities. They can be hyposensitive or hypersensitive to something, either sound or the pitch that we render at, the frequency, you know, or they might just not like an instrument. Yes, we appreciate their personality, right? It's just like how we can be sound sensitive to so many things. As we age, we just need to, we feel we just need to shut off somewhere, right? Sometimes I say music is in the silence rather than the notes. And yeah, this is another interesting slide. Music is not just one process. If you just think about perception itself, there is perception of sound, there's perception of tone, there's perception of emotion. So many beautiful perceptions. Perception of language. For people like us, it's perception of language because some of us appreciate music with the lyrics of it. And again, being an instrumentalist, I might not go by the lyrics of a composition. I might just relax with the tune or the melody framework that is being played, typically called as ragas in the Indian classical system. And beyond the perception, we have processing, we have production, we have a phase of production, and then if you look at this side, you have the sequencing, you have your auditory motor control, you have spatial organization. Typically when I say sari, sari ga, sari ga ma, sari ga ma ba, sari ga ma ba da, sari ga ma ba da ni. So they're just logical progressions. I can do it, you can also do it, but not a child with autism. I need to break this down to tell him there is a progression, you just go on adding another swar, another note to it. So we break down the phase. And then music vocabulary itself is a huge subject, how children grasp the vocabulary of music so fast. Probably music is innate in all of us. There's one case I would like to discuss, I would like to quote here for the discriminatory ability. Now, all of us sitting here can differentiate and discriminate between sound, music, and noise. But many of my children, they cannot do it. For example, I had this case, a small child who came in when he was 6, and the initial sessions were quite challenging, and it took me some time to understand that child was not able to discriminate between sound, noise, or music. The reason was, whenever I was giving him a phrase or a sequence of words in a musical format, in a melody, he was responding either by way of a barking dog, or it would be a train passing by, or it could be a construction worker who was shouting, or it could just be the running fan. Right? So it was quite tough. It took me some time to understand this. It took me around 6 months to get the child to orient just to music and shut off everything around him. And yes, the child did it. And today, the child is able to recite the Bhagavad Gita's first 3 chapters. He's able to recite 108 lines of Nama Ramayana, a huge text. Yeah. And I also found that the child had an associated condition called as amusia. Amusia is where the child may not perceive tone or tune or pitch. He might not be able to sing like any of us, because he doesn't perceive that aspect at all, that aspect of a melody. But he was happy just giving me back the vocabulary of music. He felt more confident. He wanted to do more of those. So he regularized his sessions. He would remind his mother to take him to the music session class. So that's the beauty of it. It kept him motivating because he enjoyed just taking the words of music and giving it back to me in response. And throughout this, I didn't have any tangible reinforcements. The only reinforcements I had for this child was social reinforcements, verbal reinforcements, applauds. They really appreciate it. And the beauty of any genre of music, any genre you take, whether the Western classical music, Indian classical, South African, anything, the beauty is it can be collaborated with so many disciplines of psychology and neuroscience. It's quite visible, be it your spiritual psychology, social and cultural psychology, be it neuropsychology, be it cognitive neuroscience of music. And we need this collaboration because we need more and more research studies to come out. Like I said, if I base myself on just music and on what ancient wisdom that has been given to me, the children of today's generation or young aspirants might not take me seriously because they need a science backup. They need a science backup for everything. So that's the very reason I'm here. I've just been trying to put across the idea. So from perception to processing to production to pleasure and resonance and finally transformation, music has it all. It's not that either me or anybody in the audience are without challenges. We have our own set of challenges, and every phase of life, we experience it in a different way. For me, music is emotional resilience. I went out through music. I'm a great fan of Bryan Adams, Elton John, many, many more. Yeah, maybe the 90s and just around the end of 90s, probably a great fan of Michael Jackson because he makes me tap my feet when I don't dance, but both my kids do. And yeah, so I'm not against any genre of music. It's just that I can't sing that genre of music. So music is a wholesome exercise. Probably in a world of stress around us, throughout every minute, sometimes we just need to shut ourselves and just engage in music. It could be either through music making, or you just use it as a healing agent. And I always believe that when we go beyond our personal hopes, our personal aspirations, personal ego, and we start admiring that little things, all the little things around us, the natural elements around us, the humans around us, without discrimination, we start admiring and observing them, we probably get into a zone where art and science just falls in place into one realm. From there, art and science do not differ. They do not become independent entities. They come into one place. And that's when we have to probably reach out a healing hand and start experiencing the pain of somebody else, at least experience and be a soothing agent for that person. So I finally end with a famous quote by the American author Jodi Picoult. Music therapy to me is music performance without the ego. It's not about entertainment as much as it's about empathizing. If you can use music to slip past the pain and gather insight into the workings of someone else's mind, you can begin to fix a problem. Thank you for having me here, and hope I've connected. Thank you so much.